What's up, guys? Welcome to G Whiskey. My name is Jeff. Now, this is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around at the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. That sounds interesting? Hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our review? Today, we're looking at the Highland Park Valfather. Stick around. Alright, so we're back today with another Highland Park review. I should say up front that I do like this distillery. They're not perfect. They're over-marketed. I think they've spread themselves too thin with all of their releases. And, you know, they're even the butt of a joke or two in the whiskey world. But they do make good whiskey. The one we're looking at today is called the Valfather. It's part of the Val series. We have Valknut, Valkyrie, Valfather, Valdemort, Valkilmer. There's a bunch of these. Reception to the line has been mixed. The one we've got here, the Valfather, was named after the Norse god Odin, and we've got a little blurb on the back of our bottle saying, "At Valhalla, under Valfather's command, the mighty warrior army prepares for Ragnarok, the battle at the end of the world." Fine, I'm not going to make fun of them or make fun of them anymore. They do have an enthusiastic marketing team. Never let it be said otherwise, and jokes aside, I have had quite a few decent Highland Parks in my time. I've even reviewed a couple of them here on the channel. I like the Dark Origins, I like the full volume. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I do like the 12-year-old. I think that one's okay. I plan on getting around to a review of the cask strength, but I'm waiting for the price here in Taiwan to become less offensive. In the meantime, we've got our Valfather here. This one is a 2019 release. It's been matured entirely in refill casks. The idea there is that Highland Park is often dominated by sherry, and by bringing in these more tired casks, we're going to let the base spirit and that peat shine through a little bit more. They say this is the most peat-forward Highland Park to date, but we have no idea about like production or like ppm, anything like that. So yeah, we don't really know too much about it, but we do know that it does have a higher ABV. It's going to be less sherry forward, and it's going to be more peat forward. So all three of those things are a bit of a break from tradition for Highland Park. So could be interesting. Why don't we hop into a review of this one, see what our whiskey is all about, and in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So things are looking pretty good for a Highland Park. Our ABV here comes in at 47%. I couldn't find any info about chill filtration. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. If you know, please let me know down in the comments. And I can tell you that it is going to be naturally colored, which is nice. We don't have all the info, but things are looking good. So we can't make out the color of our whiskey. We have a shiny black bottle, kind of like the full volume. They made a big deal of working with an artist by the name of Jim Lingvild for this series. We have a shiny silver label, some Viking imagery up here. I'll admit it's not my kind of aesthetic. I do think it's interesting. I think the series has an interesting look, but not really for me. So presentation score is going to be 2 out of 5. Pretty sparse production details. The box does tell us it's matured in refill casks, not much else. We have a lot of like Viking stuff around that. We have an artist bio. We do get some tasting notes. Again, all of this is on the box. Not much to say for the bottle here. It's not my favorite HP look. Let's try our nose. So classic HP. This one's very crisp. Green apples, pears. We have some florals in here, some sea salt, butter, earth, touch of strawberry hard candy in here. We have some chalk and some black pepper. This is slightly soapy. And now our palate. Okay. Floral peat, nuts. There's something metallic in here, like iron maybe, Viking sword maybe. We have some vanilla. We have some bitter herbs, some sea salt, some black pepper, like natural unsweetened yogurt in here, and some bitter orange oil. And now our finish. Okay. Roasted nuts. We have some heather in here, some damp soil, more of that orange oil. We have iron again, that metallic note. Nutmeg, pepper. This is quite drying, maybe a short to medium finish. So the marketing team kind of built this up as being the peatiest Highland Park to date, which I'm sure is true, but if you spend any amount of time with Islay single malts or even some Campbelltown single malts, the peat here is not likely to blow you away. It's still Highland Park, it's still pretty timid comparatively. Now, Highland Park does have a style of peat like no other, and that's a big part of why their house style is distinctive, but it is a love it or hate it situation. Highland Park peat is going to be a lot more floral and less rugged, and when we say their peat is floral and heathery, that's literally the case. Highland Park does make their own peat on Orkney. I mean, they don't make the peat, but you know what I mean. And Orkney peat is going to be different from other types of peat. On Orkney, you basically have decomposed heather forming your peat as opposed to trees and shrubs that you'll get further south. So when we say it's a floral character, that's really what it is, and that's definitely on display in this whiskey. We also have these irony kind of metallic notes in here, which honestly I'm not entirely sure if I like or not. Again, the distinctive peat, so there are some, unique things happening in this whiskey, but personally, I don't really see the appeal. I think this is one of those technically perfect whiskeys, which is not something I usually use as a compliment. This is going to be a younger whiskey than most other Highland Parks, but I do think the extra peat does kind of compensate for that. Our refill casks don't do much here. Of course, they wouldn't. So yeah, a younger whiskey with a slightly elevated peat level. It's good. I think it works, but I don't think it's enough to carry the whiskey. This is one that I enjoy. I like drinking it, but nothing special. It's a mindless drinker. It's a simple, pleasant whiskey. It doesn't present us with much of a challenge, though. It's simultaneously good and kind of uninspired. My score here is going to be 83. It's not doing anything wrong. It just doesn't have enough edge for peatiest Highland Park ever. It's good, but it doesn't have the sophistication, the complexity, or even the personality to warrant much of a higher score than that. Now, this was recommended to me by one of my viewers. This guy knows his whiskey, but he's got a soft spot for Highland Park. He likes their peat, he likes that floral character, and I think if that sounds like you, this is a whiskey you're going to enjoy a lot more than me. Personally, I prefer their older or more sherry-forward expressions, whereas this one goes more into that sort of floral, heathery, peaty territory. Now, it is going to be smokier than most other Highland Parks, but nothing extreme, certainly not if you're coming from like Islay or Campbelltown. I think our added ABV does add some weight to the whiskey, but it's still a bit too friendly for me. As far as I'm concerned, this is a floral whiskey first and foremost. We do have that interesting kind of metallic note in there, but I'm not sure I love it. On the whole, I think it's okay. I recently did a video where I ranked the island distilleries, and I did end up putting Highland Park towards the bottom of that list. I do think they make good whiskeys, but they make a lot of average whiskeys. And unfortunately, I do think this is one of them, so I would say skip it unless you're really into that floral, peaty aspect of the Highland Park profile. I think our whiskey's a bit young, our casks are rather dull, and it doesn't present the kind of challenge or edginess that you'd hope for, or I'd hope for, when you hear the words peatiest Highland Park ever. So I don't think this is a great value buy. I think there are better whiskeys out there for the money. It's not particularly expensive, but it's not cheap either. And for what you're getting, I would still knock it down a couple price points. I think if you're already a fan of HP, this will do. It is a different direction for them. But if you're not already an HP fan, I don't think this is going to be the bottle that sells you on them. I think there are better expressions from their core range, and I do think if you want a challenging HP, you're better off looking to the IBs. Those are going to be the Highland Parks with real balls. As for this one, I'm not in love. Alright, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hit subscribe down below, click that little bell icon, and of course, smash the like. Now, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our HP Valfather? What were your thoughts? Finally, down in the comments, let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.